What's up, guys? It's TJ, your men's holistic health coach, here with you today. Today we're going to talk about healing your body with psychedelics. Now, I'm not a psychedelic coach. I have some advice on it because I have some experience. Other than that, I do not do anything with psychedelic coaching. I do not sell psychedelics. I'm just simply sharing a story with you guys to give you guys hope of what your body is capable of, and that you do not need to be in a life of disease. As much as other people might tell you that's just normal and just natural. Now, some of us may never heal from certain diseases, but some of us can, and I want to spread that message, that awareness, through sharing my story. A belief that I hold true to myself is that we can all be cured, but not all of us will be cured. Some of us just have things that we have to deal with through our lives, and that is okay. But my story may just give you hope that you can get through whatever it is that you're going through. Now, psychedelics, if you haven't really studied it out, I would definitely recommend doing so and looking into it as a healing modality. Psychedelics are very important to study and to look at, because what they do is they diminish the blood flow going to the part of our brain that dictates our sense of self, or in other words, our ego, the chattering voice inside your head that just goes on and on all day, especially when we're not busy in the flow doing something. When we're not completely focused on one thing, on a certain task, then our brain is just blah, 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 and it's identifying certain thoughts. That would be our ego. That would be our sense of self that we have. So our sense of self is very important and we need it. So of course it's not realistic just to do psychedelics all the time. And I want to come about this looking at psychedelics as a modality to use to show you what's already within yourself. So it's not something I just go and tell everyone just to get high and to do this to get away from your issues. I see it more as a spiritual thing, a metaphysical modality you can use to actually heal your body and to get past your limiting beliefs. That's just how I view psychedelics. This is not coming from me as a coaching professional. This is me just sharing a story to spread hope to you of what could be possible for you and your body. Now let's get into my story. A few years ago, me and my wife, we got our first dog, and we got a Labrador. Now, for those of you that have dog allergies, you're watching this, you probably already know that a Labrador is one of the worst dogs to get if you already have pet allergies, because they give off so much dander. Now, we didn't know that. So we got this dog, and we all had him for only 1 week, because of course we had to get rid of him because my allergies were just so bad. And by the end of this week, I was using someone's nebulizer and someone's inhaler just to be able to get through my day. I could barely even leave the room without wheezing. I almost had to send myself to the hospital because I just couldn't breathe. And I had known that I had some minor pet allergies from before, but I never knew it was this severe until we had this dog. So long story short, we got rid of the dog after the week, and we did everything we could to get the dander out of the room and the place where we're staying at. So we vacuumed the floors, we used allergen filters, we did all that. And eventually I was able to clear up and I was okay, except I knew I did not want to suffer from such severe allergic reactions to dogs again. I was tired of going to dog parks and having to blow my nose. I was tired of taking Claritin, going to certain people's houses that had dogs like huskies with a lot of fur. And I just knew I was tired of it. I've also had this innate belief for a while now that our bodies are able to heal themselves and rid themselves of disease if put in the right state. I believe this because I saw this when I was younger with other people, where people who weren't supposed to walk could walk. I saw people with certain ailments that were all of a sudden, they were healed within sometimes even a day. And so I knew it can happen, and I knew it could happen for me. And so I knew I had to do something about it. Something particular with me is I realized that these allergies, the reason my body was producing chemicals like histamine in reaction to dogs was actually because of a subconscious fear of dogs. And it sounds interesting because even though I had a family dog as a teenager, and we had this dog that we just had for a week that I loved, I still had a very subconscious, a latent fear of dogs that was within me, that even though I could be around dogs and pet them, I still had this fear that somehow dogs were going to be, could be superior to me in some way, or somehow in competition for something. And I remember back when I was a child where I would have these subconscious fears that were more vivid, more real to me when I was a child, and that I would stay clear of dogs. I wouldn't want to be around them. In a way, the fear was implanting itself into my body. And so it just so happened I wanted to try out LSD. So some of you may already know what that is, some of you may not. I definitely would recommend go studying out to be able to know what exactly I'm talking about here. But I went ahead one day and I took the LSD and I meditated with the intention of healing these dog allergies. I sat down in meditation and I got to a point where I was just able to surrender. I was able to stop resisting whatever my higher self, you could call it, whatever the universe, God, or whatever was trying to tell me. I was able to surrender in that space. I was able to let the allergy, that fear, go, because my body was making certain chemicals that were equal to the thoughts, the beliefs I had about dogs. And I got into the state where I was able to let that go, to realize that me and dogs and all the creatures under the sun we're all one consciousness that can express itself in different ways, and so that we are all interconnected as nature. And once I was able to see this, these fears went away. And just to be sure, we went to a dog pound and we walked through this pound, and I was able to walk through without any allergic reactions, which was amazing for me because usually that would not happen. Usually I would need to at least take allergy meds, or at least I had to blow my nose. I didn't have to do any of that. And so that day I walked through and I was completely fine. And then later on, just to test even more, I would go to a family member's house and I would stay with their husky. I would do yoga on the ground in the fur of the husky with the husky, just to be sure. And sure enough, I was okay. So to this day, I do not suffer from it. So what I'm trying to share with you guys and to spread the message of is that our thoughts, our emotions are very deeply intertwined with the rest of our body. And they will control hormones, so there's certain messengers that are in our body, and they will tell those hormones how to behave, what chemicals to make. Our thoughts can make us sick, but our thoughts can also make us well. And if we truly understand this, then we can live in a wonderful state of surrender and peace at all times, as we start to practice to embody a state of healing at all times. If this video resonated with you, I suggest you go ahead and check out my book on Amazon. It's only $4.99. It talks about regulating your emotions and stepping into a state of being where you can embody your authentic self and be able to put your body in a state where you can go ahead and heal yourself. If you're not into reading, that's cool. You can go ahead and subscribe and like, so that way this video can go out into the algorithm more and help those that need to see this to understand that with or without psychedelics, they're able to get into a state where they can be at the least more peaceful and more joyful, if not healing disease as well. Alright guys, have a great day.